I have never been in love with the people that I fall in love with in my job, and
Mhm.
it's never occurred to me to consider whether or not I would actually have a relationship with them.
Don't let last year define who you are this year. Start new. Start fresh.
You know I can't work out during Ramadan. I'm just not in the mood to be around happy people.
This is Cal.
This is Mo, my best friend. He's a doctor. Did I mention he's a single doctor?
Do not jinx this thing that isn't even a thing.
So you are interested?
I'm not saying that.
When are you gonna snap out of this horrible funk you've been in? It's been nearly a year. How often are you two breaking fast?
I don't know.
Hello.
Michael, what's going on?
Hey, Jim.
How's everything?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. I have a treat to get rid of finally.
That definitely registered at the beginning, dude.
I've been getting that all day today. People are like, wow, you're really still celebrating. I'm like, no, it's falling apart. I'm just gonna wait till like the football games are over this weekend to get rid of it after.
Right on. Right on.
Well, it's a real tree, so I felt like I'd make most use of it, you know?
Oh yeah, you got to keep those ones going.
Yeah, where are you at?
I'm in LA, in my garage.
Oh, really? That's a first. I've done this for a while, but that's a first.
Oh man, I just had my third child, so I need to get out of the physical home to do this.
Oh, wow. Look at that. How old are your kids?
10, 1.5, and 3 days.
3 days. This is, wow. You're literally probably coming from the hospital, you know, and how is your wife allowing you to be doing these interviews also?
Oh, no, she doesn't need me for anything. So
seems like it.
Sneak out. Yeah, she's super solid.
Or maybe just like, hey, give her own time, you know, just get out to the garage, do some interviews. Well, I'm thrilled to talk to you. I mean, it's crazy that hearing you have 3 kids when I remember watching you on OC, Privilege, Hidden Palms. I mean, that's what I grew up kind of watching. Here you are.
Oh, that's cool. Thank you.
Years later, you know, we're all getting old, I guess, in that sense.
Oh, God, I know it's horrible, man. There's nothing we can do about it, though.
Yeah, no, hey, you still look great. You know, that's the thing. You don't look too far removed. There's no startling contrast, you know, back to when I remember seeing you first. So that's
Thank you. Thank you.
I really like this film, man. This was such a cool film. I'm going to ask you how it came about for you in the role, but man, it had a little bit of everything: culture, you know, relationships, sexuality, religion, food for sure. You know, it's a cool film in a lot of ways. It's like a human story. But tell me what kind of how you came about it. How did the role come around to you, and just the film in itself? I'm curious how you got involved with it.
Yeah. So the film Breaking Fast is a romantic comedy that takes place mostly in West Hollywood, and it's between the main character is Mo, who's this practicing Muslim gay man who's getting over a breakup, and he meets my character Cal, who is a struggling actor in LA.
Shocking. In West Hollywood, what?
and over the course of Ramadan, which is a month of fasting and then having evening meals, they sort of strike up an unexpected romantic relationship. And my agent sent me the script, and I remember reading it on an airplane and thinking, I just get this guy, the character. Not only the surface stuff of coming from a family that affects me adversely when they show up unexpectedly, to which my character has, to connecting, just falling in love with someone's faith even though it's not my own. Mm-hmm. And at the same time, there's so many things in this film that I don't have much exposure to. There's so much, this is a film about intersectionality of identities in religion and in culture. There are, our main character is Arab. There are different dialects. There, like you said, there's a ton of food. And my favorite thing about my job is to touch things that I don't understand and combine them with things that I do understand. Like, ultimately, this is a movie about people who are falling in love and trying to make each other laugh and have a good time.
And they're going through all these struggles inner, struggles, each one of these characters. Like, I was amazed how you can put all these elements into a film and make it seamless and all resonating and making sense. It's not just thrown in there to just like, oh, let's add this, but it all connects in so many ways. I mean, I think that's a skill of the filmmaker here to just make these things all relevant in their own way, but all relevant to the story and characters. I was really impressed about how all these things worked and fit in together.
Yeah, I really appreciate that you're saying that, because what I responded to when I first read the script on an airplane was that it's all on the page. What you saw is very much all on the page. This was an easy acting gig, because you just sort of walk into it, and the writing is so good that it propelled us. And then Mike Masalam, who wrote the film, also directed it, and his filmmaking style is seamless too. There's long takes. There's a lot of room to play as an actor. He loves actors. And he works very intimately with his crew. He knows them from other places. And so every day sort of feels like a party.
What was Haas like to work with? Because you guys have such good, friendship and chemistry, and just like, I understand these two people, and in so many ways, like, what's the best about this film? It's so normal. It's like people you'd meet on the streets in so many ways, but these people are, like you said, building a romance, but they're getting to know each other as you would like on any date, or whatnot, or trying to get to know some dating. What did you guys kind of talk about? How did you approach it? Because I thought both of you just nailed these characters so well, and this dynamic and the complexities of it.
Yeah. Again, I appreciate that registered. I feel, again, that it was so easy to work with Haas as well. Haas is the number one word that pops into my mind when people ask me what he's like, is that he is a pro. Like, this movie, we shot it quick. He had a lot. He's in almost every scene, and he had a ton of words, and he is word perfect in every scene, every single moment of every day. He raised the level definitely in me of like professionalism. Like, I like to have a good time. Mike Masalam he's a pro, but he's more loosey goosey, and Haas is just dialed in, and it's so fun to work with somebody. And it's so easy. Ultimately, my job is just to fall in love with him. And he's easy to fall in love with, because in addition to being such a pro, he has so much going on inside him that it's just breathtaking to just watch him like work and be a person. And he, to me, Haas wears his heart on his sleeve, which is such a great thing to be in a leading man of a film. Yeah.
I would imagine, in real life, you're a straight man with a wife and 3 kids. You've done this before in Dare, I believe, right? You played a gay character. It would be difficult. I've acted some. You can't just, you need to be a real, committed to your craft and just understand the script and characters to be able to go to these places, especially, that's such a compliment to you to be able to make it look so real and authentic. Watching this movie, I believe these 2 men were gay. It's no such a play on sometimes like, oh, they're playing gay, or, but these, you guys made these characters become and feel like real people. How do you approach that? Knowing that, sometimes people might be, have reservations with kissing another man, or especially if they're straight, or whatnot. How do you kind of approach these sort of roles and just bring the authenticity and just go all in for it? Because that's impressive to do in a lot of ways, and also important to the characters.
Thank you. I have never been in love with the people that I fall in love with in my job. And it's never occurred to me to consider whether or not I would actually have a relationship with them. And like you said, I'm in a long-term committed relationship outside of my professional life.
Totally.
And I'm happy there. So I have never looked to my scene partner for a romantic connection. So
it's happened though in film so many times.
Absolutely. Very common. It's just not my personal experience.
Absolutely.
You're totally right. Absolutely. That being said, because that's true, I actually don't approach the character from the perspective of who the gender of the person I'm working with is. So again, my job in this film is to fall in love with this man. And I did a movie right before it where I fell in love with this woman, and that going on the journey of love is what I'm interested in. Going on the I pick my projects based on what my personal connection to the character is, and then a distant but important second is what is the sort of like meaning of this art once it's into the world. And this film hit me so hard on both. I connect so powerfully to the first thing. I look up to Haas as an actor. I loved meeting Mike. The core sort of intimacy is there with the crew, with the creative team, and that's all that matters to me. I'm not so that's a really long way of saying that, like, I'm not uncomfortable kissing another man. My job and my art is connected to what I want to be in the world and what I want to experience while I'm in the world, and that's about it. And also, I gotta say, like, as I get older, I find a lot of what I thought and what people like me think about sexuality and gender and identity as I feel that there's a lot more, there's a greater spectrum than what I was raised with as a, cisgendered heterosexual white guy.
No question. And you know what? It's also relatable here too. When I'm watching these two kind of people get to know each other, I'm thinking about like the last girl I was like dating or thought I was in a relationship. You kind of fall for this whole aspect like, oh, this is cool and but then you realize you really don't know the person. Then when it suddenly kind of ends, you're kind of blindsided, like, what happened? I thought we had a connection, but then watching these characters, like, oh, they have this attraction to each other, but they don't know so much about what's going on in each other's lives. You sometimes have these like lusts or like these sort of relationships, and that's universal. Man, woman, man. You know what I mean? Like, love is love, and attraction's attraction no matter what. And it was so interesting to see that through these two characters. I'm kind of thinking my last kind of like relationship or involvement with someone. I was like, wow, these characters are illustrated what I went through, and like, you need to get to know someone. You need to find out, the troubles, the depths of them, like what's really beneath the surface, to get to know someone. That's what brings a real connection.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've never worked on something that introduces religion into it, and it introduces a religion that people from my sort of like demographical growing up in America have an idea about that is completely disconnected from the reality, both of the Muslims in this film, the Muslims that I worked with, the Muslims that I know. And, a quarter of the people on earth are Muslim. So there's no way that they're just the people that are presented to us in sort of mainstream Hollywood media. And this film is it's like so sneakily, completely, challenges all of those ideas, and it does it through what you're saying.
Questions too. I love this movie. Not only the characters challenge each other, but this movie challenges itself in the script.
Yes.
And asks questions and gives answers, and also it's self-reflective, which I thought is another genius part about it.
Yeah, Mike. I heard Mike say something in an interview. Mike, the writer director, that I think is so beautiful, which is that in that dinner scene, he felt the need to recognize the privilege that the main character Mo and characters like him, who are free to present their sexuality openly, free to and find no disconnect, right? He says, just because you love this man doesn't mean you love God less. That ability that he has to mix the two and have them enhance each other is very, very meaningful to Mike. And at the same time, he wants to acknowledge that it's not a reality for so many people. That's what that character Sam is calling out in that dinner scene.
Experiences based your reality, and life experiences in so many ways. Yeah.
Yes.
You tried the food, didn't you, man? Because I'm looking at the table, I'm like, dude, I would like tear down this feast, It looks delicious.
Yes. We, there are incredible chefs who are amateur chefs who worked on this film as producers and writers. And then in addition to that, we worked with a wonderful restaurant here in LA who gave us a ton of really good food. And I absolutely ate it, man. First of all, I had to. And second of all, it was super good.
Yeah, it's not a prop because sometimes, oh, it's food prop. You know, like, no, this couldn't be food prop. It looks too good and too, you know, something you don't have every day.
No, I've eaten my share of like cold French fries and cold eggs trying to make them look warm but this is not that gig. This gig is good food wall to wall.
That's awesome part of it. I love that. You know, I got to ask you, since I've been a longtime fan of your work, and, you know, I always wondered you played Jimmy Olsen in Batman versus Superman. Why the hell would we get like one scene of Jimmy Olsen and did he kill him off? I couldn't understand until today. I mean, tell me if you have any insight or you were wondering, like, that's all I get? You know, it's just, that's such a big character in the DC universe. Tell me about playing him. And then was there more to it potentially, or why did they decide to do what they did?
I am in contact. I've worked with Zack Snyder since on a film that hasn't come out yet. And I love working with Zack, and I'm grateful that he continues to employ me. And that I didn't drop the Jimmy Olsen ball too much. But I agree with you, first of all, that he did drop the Jimmy Olsen ball in my movie. But I mean, there's a couple things. One is there's a lot going on in that movie. I don't think that movie needs Jimmy Olsen. Second of all, in the director's cut, there's a little bit more material there.
That's right. There's an extra scene kind of. Yep.
Yeah. And I mean, the only thing I can say about that job, because I just like that, those jobs are so fun and so unexpected. You know, I didn't become an actor to play anyone in any sort of existing universe. I didn't, you know, I don't know anything about that. And so much of my career has been connected to it. And it's so fun to get exposed to it by, I mean, such an expert, you know, it's like Zack knows this stuff inside and out. And I think he is who he is, and he is as compelling a storyteller because he's willing to, you know, make unexpected choices. And that's definitely like that is a brutal way to kick off that storyline in that movie.
Well, you worked with, the cool thing is too, you worked with Ben later, I mean, before on Argo, so you must have done something good to get this gig too, because he's like at the forefront of it. Is there kind of, did he remember you from Argo in a sense to bring you aboard? Was there any sort of tie-in there?
As far as I know, Ben didn't have anything to do with me doing Batman versus Superman. I think it was just a coincidence.
But Argo he did, certainly, you know?
Yeah. I snuck into Argo, and then I definitely snuck into Batman versus Superman. And they were both amazing, totally different experiences. Yeah.
That's awesome. Finally, got to ask you, I want to know more about you, Michael. What are some of your hobbies and interests outside of, because I've seen you through the screen through over the years and do so many cool different roles, but what are some of your interests and hobbies like in your everyday life when you're not shooting or filming?
Well, like I said, my family's growing, so I'm definitely just like changing diapers and doing dishes all the time.
The real work. Yep.
Yeah. But when I'm not doing that, I love to travel. I'm an obsessive hiker, backpacker. I'm always planning the next trip, poring over maps and reading other people's experiences and outdoor blogs. And that's like the most niche obsessive thing that I do. And then I love games. I love chess. I love poker. I love,
interesting.
Yeah. Those are the things that I spend my limited free time on.
Well, yeah, it's going to be even more limited now. So enjoy it when you can have it, you know. It's so cool to get to talk to you after all these years. You know, like I said, I've followed your career and been a fan since you really started. So
thank you so much. That really touches me. Thank you.
Absolutely. It's cool to see where you've grown, you know, to the point where you're doing such really, I mean, movies that have a meaning for sure and that are impactful like this one in every aspect. So fantastic work. Keep on putting it out there to the world, and hey, now go do some dad duties because there's one more now in the household.
That's right. Thank you, Jim. Thank you very much.
Hope to connect soon down the road, Mike.
All right. Talk to you later.
Take care. Bye-bye.
You deserve to be loved.
Yeah, see, isn't that such a mystery?